Like,
Yes.
it does, really wouldn't matter who he was. I think he's a homosexual.
I know, but I mean, he thinks that you don't think he's a bozo.
I actually don't think he's a bozo. I think he does something that's very bozo-y, but I actually think that he's pretty chill and
Really?
yeah.
I just think he seems like tone deaf. The Black like I don't care, but the Black Lives Matter thing, I'm like, what a silly guy. And I was talking about it on the live stream. He was like, I was protecting my city from people trying to tear it down.
Which people?
I know. It was like
protecting it from the
Bucks County Batman. What was that? What'd you say, Bucks County Batman?
Yeah, it's like, you know what I said. You know what I said.
What if we bring on the podcast and bleep him randomly all the time?
That'd be funny. Like, just freaking is like, so, like, when did you start doing cosplay? And he's like, oh, well, since I was a what happened there?
Yeah,
just keep going. What are your, like, favorite type of people? I love whoa. No, actually, he probably uses Batman with, what's going on here?
He kind of talks like this. I'm Batman. He really has that voice.
You should have a voice like this. Well, welcome back to the pod.
Oh yeah, we're on video.
Dave Chappelle got assaulted by
me and Miguel,
a gender fluid,
standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat.
So far,
with two guns.
Okay, I don't want to misgender the attacker because that would be worse than violence. But it was a dude with long hair, dare I say, sort of feminine makeup, and
I did not see any makeup because his face was exploded outward like he was stung by a hornet's nest.
Well, maybe I'm tripping, but I felt like I saw some eyeliner.
I wasn't paying that much attention.
He definitely had painted nails though. His nails are painted black.
But you know that's not necessarily a thing anymore.
No, but because I'm trying to figure out what the motivation was.
Yeah, again, if we have to put on our thinking hats, I would assume yes, it would be someone who's at least on that side of the fence.
Maybe, but
if not, someone like that themselves.
The thing is, the attacker is black, so it could just be internalized white supremacy.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. Which is what actually would be ironic because Dave Chappelle has internalized white supremacy.
That's true.
So it'd be like double internalized white supremacy.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
You ever watch his special that he put out in the middle of the protests? It was like a 30-minute thing on Netflix.
No, I didn't watch that one.
It was just like a speech, and he's like.
Yeah, I started watching. I was like, "This isn't even comedy." I was like, "This is just talking."
It was like, I enjoyed it at the time because I think I was still like at the point where like I wasn't like completely. I don't know what the word would be, like over it, like over everything, like being super politicized. But
yeah,
I did think that it was like weird. I was like, this would be a YouTube video. Like I was just thinking about
that's what I saw it on. Was on
like,
YouTube.
Content wise, I was like, why is this on Netflix?
I saw it on YouTube. On the Netflix YouTube page.
Oh well, listen, they probably were like, this is the most important content ever made. It must be
everywhere.
Yeah, but I think he's probably gonna end up I don't think this is gonna end up well for him. Like everybody thinks this is funny, and I do think it's funny.
And you mean it's not gonna end up well for Dave Chappelle?
For the people, I don't think they're gonna be able to pin this on him. To be honest, like
on Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I think
walking out on stage and admitting to beating him up in the backstage. Yeah. Obviously,
but you could
bring I was gonna say you could bring the he's a comedian, he was just joking defense. Yeah. So I think it's kind of 50-50.
I think he'll be fine, but I definitely think even if he himself, like he personally is not held liable, people around him will be held liable, and he will probably have to pay for it. Because I don't think everybody that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guy. Yeah. All I know is the guy's definitely getting a payout. That's for sure.
Yeah,
because it wasn't just like I said. From what I've heard, it wasn't just Dave Chappelle. It was several other celebrities were in the group of people beating that guy up.
You know what it actually what it felt like to me? Because everybody tiptoes the line who's like in traditional Hollywood, and Dave is kind of in and out. But people like Jamie Foxx and like Chris Rock, I think like. They were like, finally, we'll take our anger out, like all of cancel culture. We're gonna take our anger out on this on this tackler because right now we're morally justified. And then 40 punches later to the face, they're like, you were morally justified like 3 knees to the head ago.
Yeah,
like now this was fucking like insane brain damage. His arm is all fucked
destroyed,
up.
Smashed backwards.
Yeah, like it was just like,
yeah, bad, not good.
But I don't know. I kind of feel like he does deserve to have his medical bills paid because, like, oh, actually, no. You know what? Never mind, because I don't know if you saw this, but apparently he had a weapon.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I don't know if you saw it, but it was actually a switch like knife, like I have.
Yeah.
But it looked like a gun.
Yeah, it's a trans weapon. Some of my friends told me that. I was like, that's hilarious.
I just
the weapon
thought
is trans.
That was insane. Cause I was like, is it not like? Why would you want to disguise your knife as a gun?
As a felony. Like, that's the thing that, like...
well, because what I mean is, like, you get, like...
Yeah.
Carrying a knife is bad enough. Why would you want it to look like a gun when it's not out? That's crazy. Like, that's...
Yeah, what if that was kids' rock security? It would have been fucking, like, blasted...
Lit them up with double-barrel shotguns.
Would have blasted into the moon. But, I don't know, like, people, like, everybody starts saying, like, oh, see what Will Smith started? I'm like, listen, dude.
I saw that, too. I saw it on Philip DeFranco. Like, and I was like, shut up, Philip DeFranco, you idiot. I used to like you.
Yeah.
Remember when he used to be, like, very rational and reasonable?
I still think that, he's no Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
Like, those...
No, he's not that bad, but he's definitely...
I actually think he's, like, kind of, like... He's a very moderate dude compared to what I'm used to seeing, so I don't really mind him.
He is, that is true. But I think he used to be very, very reasonable, and now I think there's times I'm like, come on.
I don't know. Again, I don't mind him. I think to me, like, somebody like him is like these are I think the liberals that are good for.
I'll take him over like most people.
Yeah, I think because he's like way closer to me than fucking again the biggest cuck in the world from H3H3.
It's always again. I've probably talked about this on the podcast, but I was such a big fan of him before.
Of Ethan?
Yeah.
Oh.
And now I cannot stand I can't stand that guy.
No, not at all. And I just see like his tweets are the worst thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, anybody admitting to like I used to do evil but now I'm good. I'm like, you were not doing evil then. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're making jokes. Like, this fool's acting like he fucking raped a bunch of Palestinian children. Like, all that was his wife's job. But all he did was
go there on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, exactly. And he convinced her to stop killing children.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to have like so much respect for him and all this stuff, and I think, but there always was. It's kind of funny because I'm not, obviously I don't care about YouTube drama, but if you kind of look back, there were these little like things that because other people I liked, kind of pointing to him kind of being slimy like that.
Yeah,
I think that was a really funny one. Was when I was in high school, I liked this one. He did similar types of content to Ethan that was a pyro or something. And basically he was like he had similar content to like Leafy, and basically like Ethan was like bad mouthing him behind his back, and then like on Twitter like saying nice things about him, and then kind of like to both of them like being nice, and then to the other one Diaz being like, yeah, fuck that guy, like they're just ripping you off and trying to. I'm like, this is lame. Like seeing the DMs, like this is really kind of scummy of you. I was like, you kind of look like a snake. And then he ended up being
days,
that publicly.
YouTube drama, and iDubbbz would just go around be like, so anyway, and
it's insane that there was a time when iDubbbz and Filthy Frank were like,
and it
successful.
Was fine. Nobody gave a shit.
No one did.
Nobody cared. Which again, I think those were the days.
No, they were like 2010.
Yeah,
was like prime, because Filthy Frank's content could not in a bajillion years exist on any platform today except for like maybe whatever Trump's social media is.
I know, yeah, like
that stuff would get blasted off of YouTube immediately.
It was crazy, like how even like cause stuff was allowed on TV as well, like Comedy Central, like something like Entourage was pretty fucking raunchy. And then everybody on YouTube was like, you think that's cool? Hold my N-bomb. Because
I was going to say, Filthy Frank wasn't just wrong. He was pushing every boundary. Like, and what's funny was he would make his videos, like dropping N-bombs and stuff. But I was like, there was oftentimes a lot of black people around him who clearly did not care.
No,
my favorite was... remember the E.T. movie he made, this E.T. 2, where E.T. like falls to earth, becomes a drug dealer?
I don't remember.
It was such a great video. My favorite was the guy, it's one of the black guys in a lot of his videos, Brock Lee.
Yeah.
And he was like the drug dealer, and it's like a scene where he's choking E.T.'s like, you could speak that fucking Spanish alien language with me. It's just like the Mexican ladies on the street, they're always speaking Spanish. I know you're swearing at me. I know you're saying the curse words. He's like choking him with like a rope with broccoli, like, duct taped to the end. Now it's that type of content was just insane that it existed.
No wonder he rebranded Insane. Like, I think.
Oh, his fan base would hate.
Yeah, I read that he stuff. Like legit like he's like, do not bring up Filthy Frank.
Yeah,
which I get it. Like, I think it's gay, but I get it for the.
Oh no! If he wants to survive in this, which he clearly does, that stuff cannot be brought up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he might have like. Compared to the shit that they've canceled, I don't know, Jimmy Fallon, even like fucking Justin Trudeau, like his is a little bit more weird because I'm like, what are you doing it for? It seems like just for personal.
Justin Trudeau?
Yeah, like the blackface are like for a party, and I'm like, I feel like you can do whatever you want for art, for some content that you put out, but the fact that this is your favorite costume is a little bit more weird.
It was a Arabian Nights theme.
Yeah, he's like, we did this every week. But yeah, listen, I don't know, I don't want to say more because I feel like there's a lot more to this story that we don't know yet about the Dave Chappelle thing.
I feel like it's just gonna be the controversies Dave Chappelle's been in have finally led to whatever.
Yes, but I am super interested in finding out what the motivation behind this. I
feel like it's gonna be what we suspect, but yeah,
if it's, I mean, listen,
the world's rarely ever more. What if he's like, Dave Chappelle cucked me?
Yeah, I'm the trans person that he titty fucked in one of his specials. But cause I'm thinking like, okay, say it's like a super woke person, and they were like, he heard me with his jokes, whatever. Like, I guess that would be good because it would like bring to light how retarded this movement is.
Yeah. I hope that's what it is.
Yeah, actually. But I don't like I guess sort of like violent tendencies helping my political views. Like, I don't like points being made that way.
Yeah, but it's like, but at the same time,
yeah,
if that is, and that does end up being the case, it's just going to be not talked about, which is what always happens.
We'll see. But yeah, I
Ben Shapiro will go on and on about it for a couple months, and then that's it.
Yeah, he jacked off to that.
Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then he whipped himself. He probably has. You ever seen the Da Vinci Code?
Yeah.
Where he has that thing with the belt with the spikes, and he just like tightens it up to feel pain when he sins.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro for sure has one of those. Well, anyway, we watched The Northman.
We did watch The Northman, as we talked about.
I was thinking about where I would rank it in, I want to say his name carefully.
Eggers. Robert Eggers.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of where I would rank it in his movies, and
it's my favorite one of his.
I still think I have to put The Witch above that. To me, The Witch is a perfect movie. And this, I think what happened was that I read this in interviews that he had to compromise some stuff in order to get the budget to make a movie like this. And I just feel like, fuck, like if he had done like one more movie that would have been successful, he would have been given like carte blanche to make this, but he's not at that level yet.
Yeah.
Where they were like, all right, we trust you. The audience likes your movies. We will now give you more money, which is what happened to, like Tarantino. Or like, Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, exactly. Like dudes like that were like, we're doing some stuff that's a little bit out there.
But and people seem to like it.
Yeah, and once they prove themselves, they're like, all right, Denis Villeneuve, you can make Blade Runner 2049, which lost like $100 million, and they will make Dune, and Dune lost like, I don't know if it lost money.
No, Dune made money.
Oh, really?
Dune was a huge hit.
Yeah, he was like...
Dune was greenlit like 2 days after it released. Dune 2.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a smash which I'm glad because I love him.
Is he French or Canadian?
He's French-Canadian.
For the worst.
Yeah.
Of both.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna cast this in Daya. And they were like, dude, done. Yeah, he'd take all the money.
Like, we don't know what you're saying, but okay.
Yeah, but...
Like, oh, your last movie lost $100 million? How would you like to make a really expensive movie again? Actually?
Yeah, you're like, all right, we'll give you a mulligan.
A book no one knows about anymore.
Yeah, like fucking Ang Lee.
That's a follow-up to a movie, a remake of another movie that people don't really like that much, that didn't make a lot of money.
Like Roland Emmerich, like dudes like that were like, how the fuck they keep getting like money to make like movies about the moon blasting into
because Roland Emmerich made like, because have you seen Independence Day?
Yeah, of course.
That movie's a masterpiece. I don't care. That movie's
the
amazing.
first one. The second one's complete dog shit.
Garbage. But the first one is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, in terms of like disaster movies, that's like the top.
It's not a disaster movie.
Well,
it's an alien invasion movie.
But there's disaster sequences in it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but
it's
that's
clearly,
not the genre, you son of a bitch. Disaster movies like The Day After Tomorrow.
It's like an alien. It's an
epic. It's a blockbuster.
Yeah,
yes.
But I don't know. I think there's enough explosions to call it a disaster movie.
Is Star Wars a disaster movie?
No, because there's not extended sequences of entire cities like blowing up for 5 minutes.
Have you heard of the Death Star? It blew up an entire planet.
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds. That was one scene in the movie.
I'm just saying.
You're a moron, and you realize you're wrong.
The Day After Tomorrow. Who made that? Was it him? It was him, right?
I think it was him.
Right? That's an actual disaster movie.
Okay, movies can have like 2 genres. I don't know if you know. Like
but that's clearly an alien, and that's clearly a sci-fi action movie. That's clearly not a disaster movie.
There's a lot of long sequences. I don't know the last time you saw it of cities just being torn, like buildings falling over for like 5 minutes. Be like, oh no, buildings are falling.
But that happens in Avengers too. That wouldn't call that a disaster movie.
No, bro, because it's not. What I mean is, there's not like the heroes running and stuff's exploding. It's literally just like 3 minutes of random people running and like buildings are collapsing on them and like crazy stuff's happening.
So War of the Worlds is a disaster movie.
I haven't seen War of the Worlds in a while.
Okay, what about San Andreas? What is that?
That's a disaster movie. And there's extended sequences.
Aliens.
When did I say that it's not both? It's an alien movie with disaster. It's a disaster alien.
You know
movie,
what?
Okay, you're wrong, and you know you're wrong.
This is why we can't take your opinion seriously. It's clearly a sci-fi action movie. It's clearly not a disaster movie. It has scenes of destruction,
and it has like 5 crazy long destruction sequences.
Right, but disaster movies is something like Volcano.
If it had like 5 sequences of like tense horror, would you call it a sci-fi with horror stuff in it?
Well, you would have to name the movie. Like,
I'm just saying,
is Alien a sci-fi horror?
Aliens. Well, Alien, yeah. Alien is.
But Aliens is a what? A sci-fi action.
Well, there's no horror elements in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Well, also, Miguel is chronically afraid of American Psycho, which it's not scary at all.
What? No, I said I was afraid when I was a kid. Now I love it.
Miguel's still a child.
Yeah, because now I'm a misogynist. Now I get it. No, sorry. Now I'm a Sigma male. And now I love it.
You're a beta.
It's the same thing. I mean, let's be real. A Sigma male is just a
beta,
with a job,
worse social skills.
Yes, it's an autistic beta with like $5 more,
with false confidence. I think that's the difference between betas and sigmas.
I thought the whole point of Sigma male was that they were just focused on the grind.
Yeah, but they have like they think it's a beta that doesn't know they're a beta. It's a beta that thinks they're an alpha.
Yeah, but a beta wouldn't try to like get more money. A beta would just be fucking a beta. Yeah, at least a Sigma is like, listen, I might be a beta, but I'm gonna have a.
But I think the stereotype is that most of these Sigmas are really just losers.
Okay, but I'm saying I'm a real Sigma, so I'm trying to illustrate here. Anyways,
you're a real loser.
Well, you're a real.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're on camera now, and everyone saw your mouth moving.
Yeah, it started with the F word. With the F word, yeah, a lot of Fs.
What's that show that just ended? That we just watched the other day?
Oh, Moon. Oh. That's a good one.
Wait, Moon what?
Moon. That's the sequel. That would have been funny. Imagine. Okay, spoilers at the end.
Spoilers for Moon Knight.
Spoilers for Moon at the end, like the end credit scene where fucking where Conchu's in the limo.
Yeah,
and then he has Harrow.
Yeah.
And he's like, guess what? I got a secret. He turns around and it's Oscar Isaac in blackface. And it's like meet what's his name?
Quandale Dingle the Third.
No, but what was his actual name?
Jake Lockley.
Jake Lockley, yeah, meet Tyrone Lockley. And it's just fucking Oscar Isaac in blackface. He's like, yo, you dead. Dude. That was sick, but I'm like,
thought the same thing. That like, why is he Hispanic and named Jake Lockley?
Yeah, we're like again, if you're gonna do a change, at least make the change make sense. And I actually think it's a better idea.
I actually do like that.
Yeah,
it took a second. But I was like, okay, I like it. But I was like, Jake Lockley is like such a British white guy name.
Yeah, like Jake Lockley. Like when I saw it, I was like, I thought he was gonna be a sort of like Italian like Bronx gangster. I'm like, but that's kind of what Mark is already. Like Mark is already like a
well
Brooklyn
in the comics.
dude.
Well, in the comics, Jake is like a Brooklyn taxi driver.
But that's what I mean. Like, just make him what he is. Make him a fucking Guatemalan immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't think anyone. What's crazy is they've changed so much about the comics. Yet apparently they were afraid to change that name. I guess I'm like, you already threw a lot out the window.
That's what I mean. Like you're like
you. I think we would have been okay with that change.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the finale in general, though?
You were right. It was very rushed.
It's fine, but I was like, it's nothing special. Like, but it's nothing horrible.
No, like to me, it's probably the second or third best episode in the show. But I was like, the action is sick. Khonshu is sick. Like the way they show
I did like when he was fighting her inside the temple when she
even
throws
outside.
him and he whips around. I thought it was kind of cool outside. But I was like, why are they giant?
Yeah, but I thought that shit was lame from the beginning when they just had like this thing inside the pyramid with the avatar. So I'm like, is this like the best they could come up with?
The avatars, yeah, like that kind of felt like budget saving.
Yeah, I was
right?
like, okay.
And okay, I remember I texted you. I was like, they very clearly saved the budget for the first episode for this one.
Yeah, because the fight
because it looks
sick.
Great, and when you first see Amit, the CGI is incredible, very detailed. When the crocodile first comes out, I'm like, oh,
no, it's great.
Like, looks visually great, which is why I was like, oh, I see why the CGI is so bad in episode 1 and 2.
Okay, and now like Moon Knight can fly.
Yeah, because it's always been like that in the comics, where his powers grow with the phases of the moon.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess in my head, I really, really like. I see why they wouldn't want to make a show that felt so close to Daredevil.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was really looking forward to a schizophrenic taxi driver, you know what I mean? Sort of like beating the shit out of people. And then I liked in the trailer where they show that scene where it's like, I think it's when you find your first scene with the costume. Mm-hmm. Is in the back of a hallway, and he's just
it's the scene of pummeling the thing.
Yeah, but I'm like, it was beating the shit out of a fucking dog.
Yeah,
like, I was like,
it looked like everyone thought it was a person.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was gonna be sick, or he was just gonna be beating the shit out of some fucking Russian gangster or something.
Yeah, the trailer's really, really, really misleading because they don't show any of the Indiana Jones adventure stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like. I get it that you have to make different stuff for the universe to keep growing. I don't know. I think there was a way to do this. I think you can do this, but not as the Moon Knight season 1. Does that make sense?
Season 3 or something?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this feels like what should have been
when he's understanding himself more.
Right. Like this to me just seemed like they were like, no, we need this to feel very different. We need to hit that Egyptian demographic for some reason. Yeah, that part of the episode where, cause what's her name? What's
Layla?
Okay. I kind of like Layla, but Layla she's terribly written. I don't know what the fuck she's about. I don't know why she likes Mark. I don't know how they met.
Mark is cool.
Okay, I get it. He's Oscar Isaac. I'd fuck him too. But
he's Oscar Isaac and badass.
Yes, but I don't understand like why she loves him, why she's doing all this for him. What like I don't understand her motivations at all. I don't understand her background at all. I don't understand her like why she can do this stuff. Like, who is she? Like, is she like ex-Marine? Like, what the fuck? Like, her accent comes in and out too. Like, sometimes she sounds British, sometimes she doesn't. Like,
yeah.
And now certain times she's Egyptian. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I get it that, you know, people can look ethnically ambiguous, but I didn't get that at all from, like, in the sense of, like, I didn't get that the character was meant to be Egyptian at all. Like, disregard her looks, you know? Again, people could, like, they look like The Rock and you're like, you never know what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Taylor Lautner.
They never really touch on her being Egyptian.
Yeah, like, they don't touch on anything. And
until
I don't know.
Are you an Egyptian superhero?
Like, to me, like, it just seemed like a complete downgrade from somebody like Kate Bishop, who's, like, completely, like, amazingly developed.
Yeah.
You know everything. You know what makes her tick. You know what her motivations. You know everything. You know shit about this woman at all. Mm-hmm. She's just like she's a charismatic Mary Sue. I didn't hate her. Again, I like her, but I was like, she's terribly written. She's not a 3-dimensional character at all.
Yeah. But she just like the actress carries it because she's likable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like I hate her. I just think she's a bad character. I think she's a character that should have been way better.
Yeah.
Her costume is sick.
Great, it's dope, right?
It's
When
dope.
I was like, that's a cool costume.
Yeah,
That's
she looks sick as fuck. Again, that line where it's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "Yes." And
she says, "I am."
I am, and I'm like, gay ass line. You didn't need it because it was very clear from the way that the little girl looked at her when she was like saving her life, that she was like looking, like it was so obvious from her eyes that she was like, damn, an Egyptian bitch like me with powers. Like it couldn't have been more crystal clear in her eyes that that's what she was thinking. Like, was it obvious to you as well that was clearly what was happening?
Yeah.
And I don't like that whole like the audience is stupid. Like, we need to make it clear that she was like, wow, somebody of my same nationality.
Yeah.
Not even race.
Yeah,
it's just some fucking Egyptian. But I don't know, I guess it was overall like good. I thought it was really weird to see like Harrow get into like a fight. I was like, this whole time I thought he was more of a
just stand around and do the grandstand.
Yeah, no, but
like speeches.
In terms of a villain, somebody like Penguin who has henchmen to do all the stuff
do the fighting.
Yeah, exactly. It was really weird.
Finally cool to see Moon Knight beating down on some fools like Batman, and he has a grapple gun because he grapples out.
Yeah.
It was just in that one scene. I was like, that was cool when he grappled out and boom, and he hit that guy.
I didn't like at all that out of nowhere Steve could fight. I'm like, then so why would he need Mark then?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Because the dynamic was that Steve
is the smart one.
Yeah, Steve. Well, yeah, he's the doofy one who's kind of helpless, and he's strapped to it. You know, an elite mercenary.
But Steve is also like the smart,
about the archaeology.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff. Yeah.
But even then, like he's clearly like more well read than Mark. Like Mark is just
he's educated.
Mark is a fucking jock.
Yeah.
Steve is like the PhD dude who's like beta-ish.
Yeah.
And I was like, this completely like. If Steve can fight, then he doesn't need Mark anymore because that was more Mark was good.
And they were doing the scene where they kept flipping back during the fight between the two of them, and I was like, I don't think this is as cool and satisfying as the people making this show think it is.
No, I didn't like it at all.
I was like, for two reasons. I was like, okay, well, like that. Like, what's the point if they're both doing the same thing? Like, why do we need to switch? Like, what is the? Okay, actually, three things. What is the technical purpose of switching back and forth? Because the show has shown that switching back between them is disorienting.
Yeah, like we're just blacking out constantly. Like,
yeah, like how is that?
Fucking sense.
How is that helpful to either of them? They're just doing to look cool. B, it ruins the dynamic.
Yeah.
And C, every time I see the Mr. Knight suit, I get angry because I can't help but remember like what losing.
It should be.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate that because I was talking to my friends like, yeah, at least it was cool to see Mr. Knight. I was like, yeah, but every time I see him, I know that like he's gonna open his mouth and say something dumb.
Yeah.
And I was like, it ruins it. Just knowing that he exists ruins it.
I did like once I saw Jake come in at the end, I was like, why didn't they just give Mr. Knight to Jake? That would have made way more sense.
He's gonna have the black and white suit, probably, I guess.
But I don't know. To me, like I was like, he's clearly supposed to be like the gangsterish.
Yeah.
Why not give him the gangster suit? I don't know.
And then, okay, another thing.
It was alright, I guess, the show.
I did not like that they included that as the end credit scene. I don't think that end credit scenes should contain vital information.
Yeah,
I think Arthur, the villain,
head.
dying is kind of important.
Yeah.
And the after credits scene should be a little tease about maybe this is going to happen. It shouldn't be blasting me with vital information. That should have been the opening for season 2. That should have been the opening scene. That would have been
that should have just been in the episode.
It should have either been the ending or the opening scene. That would have been sick if season 2 opened with that. That would have been dope.
That should have been in the episode and then have the teaser be something else.
Yeah, well,
like I would have had no problem with that being the episode.
And it's weird that they forced it because the MCU shows on Netflix don't have after credit scenes.
Again, it shouldn't have been an after credit scene. That should have just been the ending of the fucking episode.
It hasn't been a tradition for the shows to include after credit scenes. I don't know why they felt the need to make one out of something that doesn't mean an after credit scene. So I just thought it was a bit silly.
Listen, at least it wasn't. I don't know. At least it didn't feel like a complete destruction of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And I do think that the dynamic between Khonshu and him is a lot more interesting when it's more antagonistic.
Yeah.
So we'll get to see more of that. But I mean, it kind of sucks that I don't think we're ever gonna see. I'm sorry, or like at least for now, we're not seeing the Moon Knight adaptation that
No,
I think you and I both thought we were.
We're not going to see it in our lifetime because the MCU is going to be chugging on for.
You're right. Yeah, we will die before the MCU. Probably.
Yeah, the MCU is going to chug on for a long time, and even
Yeah.
if it dies out while we're still alive, it's not going to get rebooted.
Not
until-
Moon Knight. No.
Yeah,
No.
we'll see, we'll probably see another iteration of Spider-Man in our lifetime, if not 2 more.
Yeah.
I mean, guaranteed, right? I feel like we have like 10 years left to Tom Holland, then we'll get something else. But we'll see a couple more.
Miles Morales probably.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
But I feel like it has to be Peter because Peter specifically is the moneymaker.
Listen, Peter is still my Spider-Man. I don't give a fuck that Miles is a spick.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck at all. I grew up watching Peter Parker.
And also love Miles, great character.
Yeah, I love Miles,
but he's not. It's my Spider-Man is Peter.
Not quite putting my pecker up the way Peter is.
Yeah, I love Miles because Miles is sick.
Great character. Sick, but if I had to choose,
Peter.
Who's the main Spider-Man? I'll go Peter
all the time.
Okay. Listen, I think we have to go soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up. We're going to see Doctor Strange.
Yes, but we have to talk about this.
Okay.
Everybody's losing their mind because Roe v. Wade is getting overturned.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Okay, but listen, I just want to address some stuff. Like, look, do I really have to make it like clear to people that I am pro-abortion? Not even pro-choice. Like, I am like most of the time you should abort your fucking baby. We have too many people like kill them as often as possible, like as often as you want. I don't give a shit. But I do hate seeing I'm like people are ruining their own argument when they put shit like the biggest one is like a man should have no say over a woman's body. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It's your representative of the law.
Yeah.
If a guy came up with a law that said if you kill if you kill a woman, it's illegal and you get a crime, would it be like, well, a man doesn't have a right? Like, no, right?
Yeah.
Like, or if I don't know, white guy came up with the anti-lynching law or whatever, which is a little bit redundant, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's irrelevant who makes the law.
Yeah,
it just matters what
I'd say the gender of the person making a law.
Anything about it just doesn't make any sense. Second of all, it's not the sides fighting. They're saying different things that don't make any sense to both of them. The people that are pro, quote unquote life or just anti-abortion, it's a religious argument. They're not saying they're not going around like, yes, we want to control women's bodies. Like, that's such a fucking like euphemistic sort of, that's a good spin, but it's not what it is. They don't give a shit about controlling women's bodies. They're acting like they're like trying to like force them to have the kids. I'm like, they don't see it that way. They see it as preventing a murder. It's a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
Which again,
I don't think misrepresenting people's arguments is helpful. I think people do it way too often.
That's my whole thing about this abortion thing. I like
everyone's misrepresenting.
Everybody's misrepresenting every argument because they're all like, because again, even on the pro-life side, it's like they just want to murder kids. I'm like, no, pregnancies can be accidental. And if they know they're not ready for that responsibility, they would rather just not come to terms with it. And the shift in perspective comes from this. They don't see a seed as a tree, and you do.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I'm like, but they're not, if in their minds they thought like they're not, like the pro-life side acts as if women want to drown their babies in a bathtub. Mm-hmm. and then the other side acts as if they're trying to like grab them by the neck and be like, no, bitch, come over here. You're going to have the pregnancy. You're going to have the kid. Like, that's the thing that upsets me the most about this. I do not like if they were to overturn that because I am pro-abortion. I like it. I like that women have the choice to end the pregnancy. I think it's selfish, but I think it's I don't know. I'm very pragmatic, and I'm on the side of I don't think life begins at conception. So I don't have no moral qualm with it. But I do. Again, what's pissing me off is not that. What's pissing me off is just a complete misrepresentation of the arguments. Yeah, and also all the women shitting on men. It's like most of us are on your side too. What are you talking about? Like, most of us are like, yeah, we don't want to be a dad as much as you don't want to be a mom. What are you talking about? They're acting like it's all like it's just like they're acting as if it's like all men who are doing this.
Yeah,
it's a lot of women who are also pro-life.
Yeah,
a bunch of them.
Yeah,
again, like it's I don't know. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like, it's been fucking boiling me.
been boiling Miguel.
Yes, it has been boiling my asshole shut.
Speaking of boiling, I am boiling. If then we need to go.
Yes, we need to go?
It's time to go.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. It's Dr. Strange time. See you later.